Hi, I'm Stephanie and this is my home, the 16th century Chateau de Lalande. Lalande was owned for hundreds of years by a family of marquises who were at the heart of French royal life. One of them even had the honour of being sent by King Louis XV to greet Marie Antoinette on her arrival in France. But, far from being a stuffy museum, this chateau is a living home. I live here all the time and am regularly joined by my mother, my family, my friends, and wonderful volunteers from all over the world who help me to lovingly restore this historic home. Welcome to Lalande, a chateau filled with life, love, and laughter.
Hello and welcome to Sundays at the Chateau, where today, finally, the moment a lot of you have been waiting for, Guillem is here to teach us how to cook with goat's cheese. For those of you who haven't seen the vlog when I visited Guillem's amazing goat's cheese farm, I'll put a link to it now. It's really worth looking at. But this is the best bit about goat's cheese, the eating of it. Alors, tu vas nous montrer comment faire la cuisine avec.
Oui, alors on va commencer par le dessert. On fait, ça s'appelle la tarte bergère.
Tarte bergère.
Ouais.
So it's the shepherdesses, I guess in this case the goatesses. The shepherdess's tart is going to be the dessert because we're making the entire meal and we're all going to have lunch together. So what is the tarte bergère? C'est quoi la tarte bergère?
Eh bien, c'est donc du fromage de chèvre, des raisins secs trempés dans du revendré, du sucre, de la crème.
So it's made with goat's cheese. It's principally a goat's cheese tart, but there's also some raisins that are soaked in rum. J'aime beaucoup le rhum. And also cream and eggs. And sugar, of course. Bon, on va commencer.
Allez, donc il faut faire pré-cuire la pâte brisée.
Right, we're going to pre-cook the pastry. We've saved time by buying the pastry ready-made because we haven't got much time to make all of these things before lunch. And in France it all comes ready rolled like this. It's super useful. And with the baking paper already on it. I love that. He's adding a paper because we don't want it to rise when we're pre-cooking it, and we're pre-cooking it because it's got a very wet filling, and so the whole base would stay soggy if we didn't do that.
Gros sel.
Okay, so this is rock salt.
Alors le sel. Ouais, t'as compris Stéphanie que c'est juste pour faire du poids.
Oui.
Voilà.
So this is just to weigh it down so that it doesn't rise in the oven. That's what we've got, and it's going into the oven. À quelle température?
200.
It's going into the oven at about 200 degrees centigrade. There we go.
Je l'ai mis en chauffe que par le bas, regarde.
Yeah, so he chose the heat to come just from the base of the oven because he doesn't particularly need the salt to be getting hotter, he just wants to crisp up the base.
Là, on va préparer ce qu'on va mettre dans la pâte brisée pour la tarte. Donc,
oui.
Il faut un fromage blanc égoutté.
So whilst we are cooking the pastry for 10 minutes, we are going to drain the curds. This is just the curds of the cheese, and it's already been partially drained, but we need it a lot firmer. So it's going to sit and drain whilst we get on with the rest.
Alors d'abord, on fait macérer les raisins dans le
D'accord.
revendré. Donc on va juste mettre un petit peu.
We're going to macerate the raisins in lots of rum.
Ça donne envie.
Ouais, ça donne envie. En cuisinant ça, est-ce qu'on n'a pas toujours un petit verre de rhum en même temps?
Si, on peut.
Oui,
c'est
oui.
même vivement conseillé.
So apparently when you cook this in France, you always have to have a little glass of rum whilst you're doing it. So we're just going to do that.
Yes.
Let's pause just to get that because we want to do this properly. Attends. No, that.
Cheese.
It's time. Oh, it's time.
Ah oui.
Okay, the time has just gone off
Cheese.
for the pâte brisée.
Oui.
To goat's cheese.
Oui.
The great thing about the salt is you can just reuse it once you've baked with it. So we've got the curds that are now properly drained. And to this we are going to add all sorts of exciting things.
4 cuillères de crème.
We're going to add 4 dessert spoons of crème fraîche.
Pour le gras.
For the fat. We're trying to get as much fat in as possible. Then we're adding a sachet of vanilla sugar. You can make your own if you have some at home, but in this case we're using a sachet. and now 4 eggs.
Ah, mais c'est magnifique.
C'est beau.
Ah ouais, mais c'est marrant ces œufs bleus là. C'est quoi comme race de poule?
Alors, le nom en français, je ne connais pas. C'est des Cotswold leg bar. I'm explaining that these are the ones from our chickens. The blue-shelled ones are so pretty.
Voilà. C'est des Anglais.
He's saying they had difficulty breaking it because it's an English egg. It's a magnificent egg.
On bat les œufs au préalable.
He's going to beat the eggs first, because it's going to make it easier to mix.
Ah, ça c'est chouette. Okay.
We've added the eggs, and now we are going to measure 200 grams of sugar and golden sugar. I want to get to the eating part as soon as possible. Je veux que ce soit l'heure de le manger.
Oh, pile.
In goes the sugar. And then he mixes it quite gently. I've actually never seen anybody whisk like this. It's as though you're turning your hand into an automatic whisker. One of those machines that goes round and round and round.
Ça va être automatique. Ah, voilà, on est bien là.
I feel there's very little I can do to help you other than maybe have a little rum. Get into the spirit of things. Yes, yeah. Rum break. Cheers. At home, we would recommend that you cook this a tiny bit more, but we're so pressed for time this morning because Guillem can't stay for very long, but cook it a tiny bit more than we've done.
Les raisins.
Ooh, my favourite bit, the raisins and the rum are going in.
Hop.
Dig-a-dig-a-dig.
C'est pour me
Is that the French? That's the French too, right? The exciting bit, it is going into the pastry. It looks so unctuous.
Ok, et ben that's ready.
That's ready?
Pour mettre au four.
Okay, great. It's going into the oven.
L'enfournage.
So it's going into the oven now for 1 to 1.5 hours, and it's got just bottom heat at 180 degrees, but for the last 10 minutes we'll change the heat settings so that the heat is coming from above and below. It's very complex.
Perfect.
I'm not the one cooking it. Now that the dessert is in the oven, we can start on the starter, and that is going to be one of the most traditional dishes from this region. It's la tarte aux pommes de terre, la galette de pommes de terre, which is a potato pie. Now this historically has never been a very rich region. Times have been hard here, and I think that's reflected in the fact that the local food is pastry with potatoes inside, but it's super delicious. No one really knows exactly when this pie originated, but we do know that in the 19th century it started to appear in lots of regional cookbooks, and it's used throughout the region now. J'explique que c'est vraiment très berrichon.
Oui.
And I love it.
Donc là, on va faire la vraie galette berrichonne.
Oui.
Avec donc galette aux pommes de terre et avec le fromage de chèvre.
Et c'est le fromage de chèvre qui est vraiment de cette région.
Mais oui, voilà, le fait que la galette aux pommes de terre du Berry, c'est vraiment avec le fromage de chèvre.
So often you can find it in this region without proper goat's cheese. But what really makes it a traditional berrichon tart is the fact that it has goat's cheese in, because goat's cheese is absolutely of this area. So this is the goat's cheese from Guillem's farm.
Alors,
So how do we make this? Because I've eaten it a lot, I love it, I've never made it. Je l'ai jamais fait.
Ouais, moi je l'ai fait qu'une fois. Alors, on étale donc la pâte feuilletée.
He's pretending he's only made it once, but he makes it every day.
Do you mean this?
Yes,
Oh yes, we have our very glamorous assistants who are going to be helping us to make the
Producer,
starter.
please.
Oh, sorry, you're the producer, Ray.
I'm the producer. And I have my little helper.
Oh, a little helper. He's about twice your height.
Half my age though.
As the ready-made pastry is always sold round in France. We're going to have to spread it out a little bit so that we can make it rectangular for our dishes.
That's very well.
Thank you. Am I being a good assistant? Before we start, we need to mash the potatoes with butter, salt, and the cheese. And I think we're going to get our glamorous assistants to do that. No, she's off. She's off. He's saying stop, Dana, but she's off. There's no stopping her.
Attends, Dana, parce qu'il faut mettre le beurre et le fromage.
Mais on va le mettre.
Yes.
Voila. Oh, sorry.
Looks like your mother when she opens the presents.
Yes, don't do that. That. I'm sorry for what I did, Dana. He's just put one on top of the other, and then he's rolling them together.
Tac. Et la farine, c'est pour pas que ça colle. Mais vous avez compris ça.
Oui, yeah. The flour is obviously just so it doesn't stick. We are weighing out 150 grammes,
Ouais.
150 grams of butter. And for how many potatoes? Combien de pommes de terre?
1 kilo 6.
1 kilo, 600 grams of potatoes. That does 2 large rectangular pies. So it's just under 10% butter.
Donc le beurre.
Il veut écraser un peu.
Voila, so the butter is in. This one is the same goat's cheese, the curds, but it's much more drained. So this one's been draining all night because it's important that it's a little bit drier to use with the potatoes.
Ouais, voilà. Sinon la galette est trop, ça coule. C'est. Faut que ce soit quand même un petit peu consistant.
When you make your pie, it's just going to fall apart. It won't have any consistency. You can see it's quite firm, springy. You want springy cheese. So there we go. There you go, glamorous assistant. Mash away. I can get used to cooking like this. It's pretty good.
With rum?
With rum and assistance. Right, salt and pepper incoming.
Non.
2 pinches of salt.
Vas-y, on en va en remettre après. Tu
1
peux
pinch of
mélanger.
pepper.
Et on va en
That'll
remettre
be
après.
more. Moi j'aime bien.
Ouais.
You didn't know today was going to be such hard work, did you?
It's not.
After the courtyard. You know everything now. You put really high with the courtyard. Now everything you ask, it's like, oh,
C'est
I can do that.
Je trouve que notre rôle c'est le plus facile là.
Ouais, mais c'est bien. Ouais.
Yeah,
Ça va comme ça?
apparently this is now good. Great.
All the butter is gone.
Ouais, je crois.
Good.
It's making me hungrier and hungrier. Well, yeah, weirdly. I would like to try that.
Yeah, tell us if it's okay, if the salt is enough and the pepper.
Use more salt.
More salt. Ok, vas-y, mélange.
I'm addicted.
I'm addicted to you.
I'm addicted to salt.
Well, you could use salt butter, which is very good in France.
Yeah,
I
the crisp
love
butter here. We have the best butter in France. How many people does it take to make a galette de pommes de terre berrichon?
1 that mix and 4 that look. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. You're going to be told a little secret here today because Guillem's restaurant, they're very famous for their galette de pommes de terre, and that's because they do it in this special way which involves folding it over, and he is going to share that secret with us now.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm very curious about this bit. I don't see how this sort of blob is going to become 2 rectangular pies.
As we know, it's
Right.
cooked, so
Let's
it's very...
see. So the cooking time isn't that high for this because, as you can see, all of the potatoes are already mashed, they're already cooked. Right. Never seen anything like this. This is great.
Oh my God, I told you it was so...
So he makes an envelope of pastry and then spreads it out, and and then fold the entire thing over. So we've now got pastry in the middle. It's a little bit like making a puff pastry for a croissant or a pain au chocolat. Only a lot more substantial.
Wow,
You can see you've done this before.
Of course.
Me trying to get a rectangle out of that would take me quite some time. I love the silence in the kitchen as well, like, wow.
Yes, it's exactly the thing I told you just before that I didn't understand how they made this really
Yes, the thin pastry.
Yes. Alors,
Yes.
hop là.
Right. Okay. So this secret allows you to make extremely thin layers of pastry going through the center of the galette. So you see, don't be scared to just fold it and shape it as you need.
brilliant.
Ah, ça c'est bien.
Okay, this one he's pleased with. He's not so pleased with that side, but he loves this side.
Oh, beautiful.
There we go. Number one.
Marble.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Hop. Allez.
Wow.
Avec-
It's so good because you
Yeah.
don't need to be perfect.
No,
You know, like
absolutely
other
not.
plates.
This is rustic cooking.
Yes,
It's not
exactly.
about having everything perfectly around the edge, it's about being able to cut beautiful slices from it. when
I
it's
think
cooked.
it's the second word of the day, rustic.
Rustic. What was the first word of the day?
Unctuous.
Unctuous, rusticism.
La galette fardée, c'est dans mon vocabulaire, c'est œufifié.
Eufifié. So the technical term is to farde. I actually didn't know that word, and it means to put brushing, a coating of egg. But he says that in his vocabulary, he calls it to eggify. You're going to eggify.
Donc c'est le. Et ouais, c'est pour la faire dorer.
Oui, to make it go nice and golden in the oven. So let's get on with the eggifying.
Donc il faut prendre un œuf anglais.
It has to be an English egg, he says.
Ah merci. C'est bien fait,
thank
ça.
you.
Are you going to wash your hands all together now? Everybody with eggs in the hands.
Voilà la dernière étape.
Oh, we're so nearly there now. And it's only in the oven for half an hour, so we're not far off being able to eat something. It goes into a hot oven, 200 degrees, for 20 minutes, and then we'll check on it.
Et ben c'est pas mal là.
Okay, the eggification is complete and it can go into the
Oui.
oven.
Ok.
Oh,
Yes, et bon. Bah.
as you can see, we've mushroomed.
Groundlings.
Help with each
Groundlings,
one.
yes.
We are going to learn to make. C'est quoi ton fait, là?
Le crottin écossaise. The Scottish crottin.
Oh, the Scottish crottin. Crottin are these goat's cheeses. That's when it's this shape, it's called a crottin, and it's a crottin écossais, which is crottin, a Scottish style because it's with whiskey. So a whiskey and goat's cheese main course. This is the one I'm most excited about.
Yes.
And you must, because you've suddenly appeared out of nowhere. To mess around with goat's cheese and whiskey.
It was a rumor.
Yes, alors bah, c'est hyper. Ça c'est vraiment le truc le plus simple.
This is very simple, apparently.
Ouais.
Really easy.
Chacun prend un crottin, il le met dans le ramequin.
Each person
Okay.
take a goat's cheese and place it into your ramekin.
Alors chacun va mettre une cuillère, pas une grosse, hein, une petite cuillère de miel dans le.
So each person is going to put 1 spoonful of honey. And this is the honey from our bees. So this is very exciting to use this.
Yes.
C'est nos abeilles.
Oui, oui, il m'a dit.
Yeah.
Bah, je vous montre le premier, puis vous voulez faire après.
Okay, he's going to show us how to do the first one. So there's one
That's not enough.
like that.
Ok, peut-être un petit peu plus. Mais...
Donc par-dessus. Okay.
Ok.
Honey, goat's cheese and whiskey and pastry. I mean, wow. Over the top of that, you put 1 capful of whiskey. I'm so happy right now. Honestly, I could not be happier.
Tu veux un rhum?
Non, un whisky maintenant.
Ça va comme ça?
Ouais, très bien.
And now I'm going to add the capful of whiskey.
You cheated.
That's more than the normal too.
So basically, he's saying that Dana went a little bit heavy on the honey, and I appear to have gone a little bit heavy on the whiskey.
Yeah, that shows something of someone's personality.
Okay, go for it, everyone.
Hop, c'est bon. Yes.
Yes. Right, now we are cutting out circles of pastry to add a little hat of pastry on all of these. So he's going to put some beaten egg just around the edge so that the pastry sticks.
Tac, on prend le rond de pâte feuilletée. Tac, 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 tac.
Tack, 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 tack. It's not just one tack operation, it's a several tack
Et
operation.
après on colle, voilà, tu vois, tu colles.
Ah, look at that, it looks so good.
Et puis
Voilà.
un petit peu de temps.
And you see how easy it is to make this. This is such a great thing to do if you've got guests coming round.
Et après, donc, à l'auberge, chez nous,
Yes, so in their restaurant, they then do a little something extra. It's a triangle with the very tip put back.
that's a kilt.
That's a kilt! Oh!
A kilt.
Scottish kilt! Super! Yeah, I love it. Don't forget the kilt.
Et voilà. Hop.
Et c'est au fifier.
Et après, au four. Hop.
And that's ready to go into the oven.
Parfait.
That's my kilt.
I will be proud.
Yeah, you would, right? This is a Scotman meal. Except the Scotman doesn't like cheese. Right, that's two ready. We've basically got a new household group activity now. We're going to be making these every day. Tout le monde adore, c'est trop bien.
Mais ouais. Mais c'est tout bête à faire. C'est simple.
It's so simple and easy to do. Oh, for goodness sake, Philip's taking hours over the most perfect kilt. Okay, Philip, do you want to carry on making two more kilts, as you're clearly the
Please.
kilt
Sure.
master in
Yes,
this house? This is our best kilt so far.
Yeah.
Who in your family invented the kilt part of this?
J'ai pas compris.
C'était qui dans ta famille qui a inventé le
Ah,
petit
c'est mes
kilt?
parents. C'est mes parents, my parents.
His parents are the ones that invented the little kilt on top.
Et
Trop bien. The difficulty with cooking this is that you want the goat's cheese to melt, but you do not want the pastry to burn, so you have to keep an eye on it. It's only about 20 minutes in the oven. À quelle température?
bah ouais, 180 à peu près.
So about 180, enough to puff up the pastry without burning it and to melt the goat's cheese. We all just cleared the table because we're tidying up and laying the table for lunch. But I suddenly realised that Dana, very quietly, without saying anything, had taken the leftover pastry and has put cream
Boursin.
cheese with herbs, just boursin,
Boursin.
with egg on top that was left over,
Yeah.
and is making a little pie out of the leftovers, which is really clever of you. So many people would just put that in the bin.
Oh no!
I know, right? That
This
would be
will make a
madness.
kind of burecas, you know?
Yeah.
And the egg that is left, I'll just put it like this.
So none of this is planned, but it just shows you what you can do if you've put a few little bits left over at
Leftovers.
the end of your cooking.
Perfect, and I put it in the oven, and it's perfect.
Right, let's get this table laid. Oh, Marie's made flowers for us, especially for our special goat's cheese lunch.
Enchanté.
We were thinking in in the menu to make it as light as possible and as fast as possible. Alors on a pensé à le faire rapidement, hein, un menu très léger. Hein.
Oui.
And so we decided to.
This is a light meal, apparently.
Yes.
It's a 3-course
It
goat's
is.
cheese meal. It's
It
very
is
light.
very light. So we didn't make any vegetables or whatever, just salad. And now we're going to make the sauce. On va préparer la sauce.
En fait, ils font la sauce avec de l'huile de noix.
Oh, j'adore. Well, that's very regional too. They use walnut oil to make the vinaigrette, and that
Let's
really
make
is
it.
of this region.
Right,
I love
perfect.
that.
Je vais
Philip,
chercher.
you better not touch the salad. We're starting with the walnut oil,
I'll just do this for you.
and to that we're going to add the vinegar. Now, usually, no, c'est pas grave. Go for it. We've finished the walnut oil. Usually in the auberge they use cider vinegar. We don't have any at the moment, so we're using white wine vinegar with a little bit of tarragon in.
Encore. Ah, puis on a un petit peu d'espagnol aussi.
Yeah. Then some mustard. This is Dijon mustard. That's quite a good bit of mustard there. Il y a beaucoup de moutarde.
Tu trouves? Ah ouais.
J'aime.
Moi j'aime bien quand c'est
Oui,
relevé.
moi aussi.
Ok. Sel, poivre. Le sel c'est
Salt,
pareil, il faut.
pareil.
Oh là là.
I'll get you the pepper. Hanny bought these, the salt and pepper shakers for the chateau, and we're just having so much fun with them all the time now.
On essaye avec un peu de ça.
And we're going to add a little bit of soy sauce for fun, because why not?
Hop là. Yes. Okay.
Right, well, I think we're good to go.
Regarde, on va mettre un petit peu de whisky.
C'est bon?
Oh non.
That's really delicious.
C'est bon,
J'adore.
quoi. Moi j'adore
Non,
la
c'est super bon.
sauce soja, j'adore en vinaigrette.
Oui,
C'est
moi
super
aussi.
bon, ouais.
Super, that's sublime. And we're good to go.
The galette looks beautiful.
Is the chef happy?
Ouais, ouais, c'est bien, c'est bien.
Yes, the chef is happy. And he's showing us how to cut it into triangles. Look at that. It's oozing. Oh, oozing goodness and deliciousness.
Okay, can you put some salad here, please? Can you put some salad, please?
You tell me, Kat.
Or Isabel?
We are just checking. Oh, checking on the main course and the dessert. Well, everything's looking beautiful. Perfect. Bon appétit, everyone.
Bon appétit.
Bon appétit.
And thank you, Guillem.
Mais avec plaisir.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Here is the galette, and we can just see what it's like inside.
Ah, merci.
What's the unctuousness rating, Kat?
You were the one who started with this unctuous business, but it is extremely silky and lovely.
Regarde-moi ça.
Ouais, ouais.
Comment c'est tout fin.
Mais
More than you think.
And now it's time for the main course. Our little kilted whiskey
My little
croissants.
burrata.
Oh, that is not our main course, but it looks really good. That's
It's
your
cooking.
leftover pie.
It's the leftover pie, yes. Okay, it's going to be very hot.
Wow, the kilts look good.
They look so good. All our lunches should be like this. Do
This one is
On a bien produit.
c'est bien.
very well.
On est une bonne équipe.
you think that's your kilt?
On va faire un
This
autre.
one, this one, and this one.
Mais ouais, c'est cool de faire ça.
I'm just going to show the world how proud you are of your kilts.
I'm very proud of my kilts.
Elle est
I take my kilts very seriously.
voilà, je m'en fous. En fait,
Coming
l'ampleur
with
que ça
the
prend,
egg.
le truc. Et,
I recognise mine, and mine's
montage, il est
lovely.
bien.
That's a great kilt. That is a really, truly great kilt.
Absolutely.
Là c'est le crottin à l'écossaise, mais en fait on peut mettre un peu ce qu'on veut dedans. Alors à l'auberge on fait avec de la menthe et du basilic, avec de la gelée de vin. C'est un confiture de vin en fait. Mais c'est vrai qu'on peut le faire avec pas mal de choses.
And a little tip from Guillem. Oh, look at the cheese. Oh, that's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And Guillem says that he likes to mix them together. Bon, montre-nous comment tu fais.
Ah regarde, donc j'écrase tout, tac
He
tac tac
mixes
tac,
everything up together.
et en fait je mange la pâte feuilletée avec le crottin. Hop. Et après tu prends une bouchée.
So you get a little bit of everything in each mouthful.
C'est chaud.
What does everyone think of it?
Oh, it's lovely.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
I think with the honey especially, it makes it a little bit softer, your goat cheese.
Yes, it is. So good. Softens it.
Ah oui.
Oui.
Ouais.
Oui.
Et alors ça, tu trouves, n'est pas brûlé.
Non, parce que c'est vraiment que le dessus, il n'y a pas de...
So in fact, this is how he wants it. He says that it should be like really dark golden on top. And it's really only the very top that goes like that. So now we have to put it aside and then put it in the fridge to firm up, which means sadly we cannot eat it right now at the end of our lunch, though I'm not sure I could eat anything else. Je sais pas si je pourrais continuer de manger maintenant. Tout ce cher. So we're going to have it for afternoon tea. Guillem's got to go because he has to go and work, so he won't be with us when we have this for afternoon tea. Mais tu vas revenir un jour. He's going to come back.
Avec de nouvelles recettes.
Yeah, he's going to come back with new recipes. We can just keep going on the goat's cheese. Ciao. Thanks, Dana. That was great fun and super delicious.
Gros bisous. Ciao.
Dis coucou aux chèvres.
Ouais,
Bye.
Bye.
See you tonight.
Selma, your timing was not perfect in terms of the meal is great because look, we still have a perfect little whiskey, goat's cheese and honey.
Oh, thank you. It's the same thing as in the restaurant.
Yes, it's the one with whiskey and honey.
And then you dip it, or?
You just eat it with however you like. So Guillem was telling us that he tends to push all of the pastry into it and eat it all sort of mixed up together.
Okay.
Or you could dip in bread, whatever you prefer.
I understand, yeah.
What do you think?
That is very good.
And it's so easy to make. It's such a fantastic recipe.
Nice.
We didn't get round to eating the pie until our Halloween party later that night.
The pie's firmed up beautifully. There's the finished result. Now let's see how it tastes. That's basically rum cheesecake. And it is delicious. What a fantastic day this has been. I hope you've enjoyed it and that you'll try some of the recipes at home. And if you do, please let me know how you found them. See you next week.
A huge thank you to all of our patrons at Lalande who are making this vlog possible, especially our Dauphin and Dauphine of Lalande, Yadel and Ether, Alice Allen, Anna, Brandon and John Michael, Daniela, Dan Bander, Lauren Barnes, Vince Barone, Denise Behrens, Linda C. Bradley, Candice and Ed Borkowski, Clara Butcher, Veronica Castillo, Zoe Dork, Sakura Dennis, Jackie Ellison, Nicholas W. Fairfax, Tracy Ferrari, Elle Fine, Caroline Förster, Brenda Gibbons, Abigail Grant, Brenda Harris, Delane Hallbrook, Kim Hasselhoff, David and Tong Henderson, Jacqueline Holmes, Helen Jacobs, Jimmy Kemp, David and Summer Lalande, Victoria Lepine, Janet Hoff Lombard, Frank Martin, Kim Matlock, Meredith, Robert Miller, Kathy Norrie, JC Ward, MP, Maureen Palmer, Tamara Price, Amin Rahman, Tonya Renee, Yvonne and Peter Richards, RJB, Bettina Rojek, Hanny Ross, Elizabeth Scanlan, Sven Schreiber, Lisa Schultz, Jennifer Shanks, Patty Suhu, Susan Stevens, Jenny Stevenson, Sarah Thornton, Colleen Troyer, Jessica Walker, Brandy Walton, Laura Watkins, Greg Wood, David Young and Ludovico Zordanazzo. And thank you to all of you.